You got your Game Pass? You don't? Hey man, what the f?
This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
But there's a time for thought, and there's a time for action, and this is one of those times.
Which?
The second one.
Hello humans, and welcome to the Xbox Game Pass Retro Gold Goodness, a segment where I will talk about previous generation games featured on the Xbox Game Pass. So please come and join me. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. And now let's get ready for the show. Hello humans, and thank you for joining me in another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, smash the like button. Now, let's get ready for the show. On today's episode... Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. That's right, retro games, guys. I have the Xbox Game Pass with Gold, and one of the things I appreciate about this service is that, they give us some old games from time to time, previous generations. Destroy All Humans came out at a time where, man, I could not even dream of buying it, right? All I knew about these games was what I read from the magazines. And that was it. That's all I could do at that time. Just to give you a perspective of what kind of time I was having in 2005, my daily budget for meals was $3. That should tell you everything. That was in the budget. I was barely starting a business. All my energy was going into that business, night and day, 7 days a week, 14-hour days, the whole it was just crazy back then. And I just didn't have a lot of time for video games, other than my handhelds at the time. The only way I could enjoy the hobby was through magazines, right? Specifically old magazines. Some of them I looked at today before watching this video just to, just remember those times, some people don't want to have bad times at all, but I think, adversity is one of the things that builds us. And I remember, sacrificing that time for trying to have that business to have better things for my family. I did what I had to do. But man, was it ever a challenge? Was it ever a challenge? And one of the things I remember of that time is, reading a lot of magazines. And this is one of the games that stuck out because when I was younger, I read a lot about Roswell, for example, and I've always been curious about UFOs and things like that, things before, things that I thought before I actually went to college and learned a little bit of physics, and things like that. But they always stuck with me, and when I saw this game, it was like, man, they do all the things that that I used to read in the games. And that I used to read in the magazines about, the old magazines like the Old Inquirer. I used to watch In Search Of, for example, and I would go whenever we went to the supermarket. One thing that I would do is I would go to the magazine rack while everybody else was shopping and look at these sci-fi magazines, and read the stories about alien abductions and things like that. That's something I would love to do. But anyway, this game has a lot of nostalgia for me, because there was a time period that I knew I couldn't really game. I did eventually get an Xbox. This is a game that I always wanted to own, but I never did. And this is one of the great things about digital, that I have to appreciate nowadays. Even though I'm a physical collector, digital gives us the opportunity of experiencing things that we couldn't get, or we missed, or we can't get now. I mean, right now there's so many games that are so expensive, you know, like overly expensive, that some people don't get to enjoy because, you know, they're just not available to the masses. But a service like this gives you the opportunity of enjoying games of yesteryear, and I think one of the beauties of it is that it enhances your palette for games. You know, you're able to try out different games that maybe you didn't think of looking at if they weren't on a service. But anyway, getting back to this, you know, as I'm playing it, you know, and for the first time, and I'm throwing the cows around and giving people anal probes, I can see how dated the graphics are, even though they do the best they can here on the Game Pass. But that just makes the game even better, you know, at least to me. I'm not really focused. I'm not a big graphics guy, because I also appreciate the voice acting, specifically of the main character. Has a little bit of a Jack Nicholson vibe to him. This, you know, sarcastic little fellow, and they're kind of dumb at the same time. So it's pretty cool. You know, it's like playing a cartoon. Nothing too complicated here. Something really fun, something I would look forward to playing, for example, with my kiddos, my grandson, and just having a great time with it. I think this is an awesome game for that. Just a bunch of fun, mindless fun. And if you have the Game Pass, I suggest you check it out. Just give it a twirl. I'm going to put a little bit of the intro scene here at the end so you guys can get a feel for it. And that's about wraps it up here, guys. Alright, I will catch you on the next one. Remember to like and subscribe. And remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
Incompetent fool. I should never have sent you.
What's shaking, Pox? You look a little, what's the word? Constipated.
Let's just say I hope you turn out to be less of an evolutionary dead end than your predecessor.
You lost me.
Shall I tell you a secret? Few of our people know this, but the DNA patterns in our cloning banks are becoming more and more degraded with each new clone.
That's bad, right?
Only if we want to retain our immortality through cloning. Of course it's bad! I sent Crypto-136 in search of a planet we visited many eons ago. A planet seeded with pure Furon DNA. But I lost contact.
Let me get this straight. You sent me, him, Crypto-136, to a hostile planet, and he's disappeared. Maybe captured, maybe even being tortured as we speak.
Well, I wouldn't jump to any conclusion.
I bet you wouldn't. Let me tell you something, Pox. You're a smart cookie. But there's a time for thought, and there's a time for action. And this is one of those times.
Which?
The second one.
Perhaps you're right, 137.
Course I'm right. You kidding me? A cryptosporidium captured by a bunch of monkeys? We gotta go in. We gotta crack some craniums. We gotta rescue me. Him, he's gotta rescue me. I gotta brains, man. When do I get to blow things up?
Patience, Crypto, patience. I take your point. Prepare the mothership.
That's what I'm talking about. So, what's the name of this crummy planet?
Our destination. The planet Earth.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click the notification bell, and remember, never be afraid to be happy. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.